Live streaming is on.
Welcome to Stunt Hangar Video Hangouts. My name is Charles Carter, and we talk about building and flying model airplanes. Our discussions cover sport flying, competition flying, show and tells, and also what you have done in your shop or at the flying field lately. To join our conversation, if you are already a member of Stunt Hangar Forum, you can find the link at the section called At the Bench, which is located under the section titled In Memory of Our Friends. If you are a member of, if you are not a member of Stunt Hangar, please register at stunthangar.com. Place in a space between your first and last real name. You must use a valid email address or Sparky will not approve you. If you are inclined to just simply watch the YouTube show, please enter your questions or comments in the chat box, and I'll do my best to make your comments part of the show. If you find the Stunt Hangar video hangouts or the many building videos that Sparky does on this platform informative and enjoyable, please like and share the videos. Please consider joining our YouTube channel memberships. You get special badges and member-only videos, and then once a month, Sparky has a question and answer show for members only. That's a great opportunity to talk to the man about building or flying or engines. He has over 50 years experience, and he's a plethora of information, just unbelievable. Now you can also use the super chat, which is located in our chat box, to make donations, and like to thank you in advance for that. We need these donations to help Sparky with the acquisition of equipment. When he goes to these contests and does live streaming to YouTube of the event, the bandwidth is really expensive, and some of the equipment he uses is very expensive. So if you enjoy this stuff and if you find it informative, why not join and support? You can start at $4.99 a month, and that's like less than 17 cents a day, and you're getting a great value for 17 cents a day. I mean, why wouldn't you want to do that when you spend more than that at Starbucks, right? So one last thing is, please keep your conversations family room friendly, and in other words, please don't use words you wouldn't use around your children and grandchildren. And with that being said, let me go ahead and post the link. I have two monitors here. Okay, so the link is posted. All right, great. So I'm expecting to have a very good program tonight. Usually Friday nights is a time when we might go even longer, and so I'm really looking forward to seeing what's happening tonight. But anyways, I went flying today. Excuse me. I went flying today with like two other friends of mine, and I'm helping one particularly fly, and the other one I was helping him as well. And I really enjoy helping people. I enjoy this hobby, and we had two kids there, and I hope they come back. Let me give a shout out to Corbin and Simon. Met you today. I gave your dad my business card, and so it has my YouTube channel. But hopefully he'll see this as well. Anyways, yeah, I did not have a very good flying day. I just had equipment problems and frustrating. But you know what? When you have a bad day, I think it makes the really good days that much more enjoyable.
Is on.
Someone coming in. Hey, Tom.
Hey, Charles.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing good.
All right. So what you been up to?
I had the grandkids over today. We've had some pretty good weather for Minnesota the last few days. So
great. I'm glad to hear that. Looks like
unusually warm for Minnesota.
Yeah, the weather has just been crazy. I think everywhere. That's just another topic. But yeah, the weather is it's strange. Hey, Gary, you having problems coming in again? I just see your initials. Anyways, so have you done anything fun or interesting to talk about, Tom?
Well, I did cut out this rib out of balsa with my laser
Wow,
cutter.
that's
I
fantastic.
finally figured out all the post processing and generating G codes and everything to get it done.
That looks great.
There's still some work that needs to be done as far as speeds and maybe the laser power, and the number of passes. Plus, when it cuts it, it doesn't cut like all the way around the perimeter. It cuts like a section here, and then it goes over there and cuts a section there. And so I got to figure out the order of the path also.
Interesting.
But at least it cut it out of balsa. So it took 4 minutes. It took 4 minutes to cut that rib with a laser.
Not too bad. And now you don't need to do any sanding to it. I mean, is it ready to be installed, or do you need some more work on it?
Yeah, you probably could sand it a little, but it's not too bad. I guess it depends on how you're going to finish it, whether you care about the burn marks and stuff.
Yeah, well,
there's one thing I'd like to add to my cutter, and that's air compressor to shoot air on where it's cutting. And I've heard that helps out some, so I don't have that on mine right now.
oh, that's interesting. Yeah, even with my scroll saw, it has a little blower that blows the dust off, and it helps. It helps me see with the part I'm cutting out. Plus, I think it would be good to have that dust be out of the way, be out of there.
Yeah, I cut some. The first cuts I did, I had full laser power and a fairly slow feed rate, and
Right.
it started the wood on fire.
I was thinking that. I was thinking when you started. I was thinking, oh, this sounds like a fire.
Yeah. So.
Well, at least you didn't burn down your place, and so you can still talk about it. That's
right.
good.
It does create some smoke too, so that's kind of an issue. Smells like burning wood when it cuts.
Yeah. Well, at least it's not some toxic material you're cutting.
Right.
Just balsa wood.
Yeah.
So, do you think you'll be able to have? I mean, your plan is it to have like a sheet of all these ribs, and it will just go and do one at a time. Continue in sequential order, cutting them all out. And you can walk.
Eventually I'll get there. I'm not there yet. It's a huge learning curve with all this stuff. So it's coming along. It takes multiple programs. I use a CAD program to do the design, and then a separate program to do the post-processing to create the G code.
Right.
And then a third program to actually do the cutting. So it's like 3 software packages that you're trying to learn all at the same time.
Wow. Excuse me 1 second. Hey, Peter, how you doing? Yeah, go ahead, Tom.
So I was just saying it's like a big learning curve with all that software to learn. And there's a lot of little nuances that will take some time to figure out and get used to. Just like I said, the order that it cuts,
Yeah.
to make it more efficient and speed things up. So
Yeah, that's like with anything new. It just takes a lot of time up front, and then down the road, you're just having dividends constantly, and it's just easy, but it's up front. It's just all the time.
Yeah, I made the machine 36 inches long, thinking that, I wasn't thinking ahead, I guess, but the actual cutting area is only 31 inches. So you can't fit a full 36-inch sheet of balsa in there.
Oh, okay.
So I wish I had thought of that ahead of time and just made it a little bit longer so I could fit cut a 36-inch long piece.
Right. Oh yeah, no, it's hindsight is 2020, and I can't stand hindsight. Makes me so mad. Like, why didn't I think of that? But it's like it's so obvious after the fact, looking back.
Right.
But up front, when you're going into it, you don't, things catch you off guard. It seems
But
like life gives you the test first and the answer second.
But it does cut 31 inches, so that's better than a lot of machines.
Hi, Tryon.
Hey guys.
Tryon?
How you doing?
Good, good. I received the package today.
Oh, good.
And the muffler is the wrong muffler.
Well, what do you mean? Isn't it 37 millimeters center to center?
No, it was 36 or something, less than that.
Oh well. Hey, I tried.
That's okay. No, I super appreciate that, man. No question about it.
Yeah, well, I'm going to partially blame Peter, because wasn't it Peter that said that the LA-46 muffler should fit on there? I think I remember. Do you remember that, Tom?
Yeah, I think I remember hearing that.
Are you
there you go. He's gonna click the "go I'm out of here" button.
No, I'm gonna measure it again. I mean, I have an LA-46 right here, and then there's the muffler for it.
All right.
Take the screws out.
But do you have a 46 SF motor?
No, I have a 46 LA, but I was just going by dimension and measurement.
Ah, capacity, no.
So I got the 46 LA here, so
Yeah.
This is the 46 SF.
Right. I remember you saying that.
And if you measure, so if you measure this center to center, it's 37 millimeters.
Okay. Let me click on it. Let me click on you.
So it's 37 millimeters.
I see it. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
And this muffler is 35.
I get over 36.
35.5 roughly.
And I get this.
Yeah, this is 35.5 roughly, so center to center.
Yeah, but I get 36.31.
All right. Well, what's happened is happened.
35.
That's more than 35.
That's okay. Now we know that the LA muffler does not fit on the SF engine.
No, it doesn't. Yeah. So here is like if you measure outside to the outside, 38.4. Inside to inside is 32.9. You add them up, divide by 2, should give you center to center. Whatever,
42.84.
Oh well.
Yeah, I've got it at maybe a half a thousandth. Too small.
Yeah. Well, that's okay. It just doesn't fit. It's just
yeah, because I'm getting this.
let me see. Let me click on you. 37. Okay, 37.41. Okay.
That's what this one comes out at.
Center to center.
Yeah.
That would fit on this one for sure. Hey, Peter, you know how you do it the best? The best measurement to measure this, you measure like this. Watch this. You measure like this. Inside to inside. Then you
Okay.
flip it over, you measure outside to outside. Okay?
Okay. All
You
right.
add the two numbers and divide by 2. That's going to give you center to center.
Oh, that's a great tip.
3280.
That's a great tip.
And that's a very precise number.
Yeah, that's a great tip. That's awesome. Because I remember I was dealing with an eBayer or
Simple math.
somebody and trying to measure something, and I wasn't sure exactly how to get center to center. I did do it mathematically, and but that's I didn't do it that way. I did it kind of like from outside to inside one time, and I multiplied it. I forgot the math, but I came up with it. But I like your idea better, simpler.
Yeah,
Hey, John.
the way I did it, way I did it initially is I have the engine here, and I put the two screws into the holes, and I take my caliper and I put it to the center of each one of the Phillips head screws.
Okay.
That's just the best eyeballing, Pete.
And I get
30, that's not 36, almost 36 and a half almost.
yeah, a little bit more than that. And that's just doing it to the center of the two screws.
That's eyeballing it, Pete, and you are measuring a little bit bigger than it is. But if it's 37 point something, you know, probably it's 37. So that would be a good. They would fit this one, but probably this is from an older motor that has slightly different holes in it.
I don't know. I thought that was a muffler for an LA-46. I had a bag which had the engine and the muffler in the same bag.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that is an LA-46 muffler. Tryon.
I'm pretty sure it is. I don't say no. I'm pretty sure it is, and I'm pretty sure it is because I have. Yep. Is it from this motor like this?
Now, hang on a second. Let me click on you here. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, but this is the older style LA-46. It's not probably the blue one has a different muffler.
Yeah.
No, they're the same. They're the same parts. The finish is no different. I mean, the finish is different. The color is blue, but the same motor.
Actually, the blue ones came out before the silver ones.
Is that right?
But they're the same motor. It is. When you look at the exploded parts view, all the parts are the same.
It probably falls within.
I don't understand that.
It falls within the area of admissible deviation.
Yeah, right.
Now if you measure with this stuff, it's within 0.5 of an inch if you measure it accurately.
Yeah. By the way, I wanted to tell you, I'm embarrassed as all get out.
You what?
I'm embarrassed as all get out. That little demo I did last week. Remember when I got confused or frustrated there because I left something off? Right. Well, when I wound up finishing up, I inverted or transposed a couple of numbers, and so what I gave you was way the heck off. So I redid it, got it really nice. Now I was going to post it on the Stunt Hangar on my CAD Classics site, and I can't get it to post. But anyway, so the numbers you got are wrong. It's real quickly. It comes out expressed like turn it. X is to the X is to the flap rotation, as Y is to the crank rotation. So if you got I need to have it sitting in front. Anyway,
I have what I got last time. I have X equals WX over Y. I mean WZ over Y. And Z is the bell crank ratio at 45 degrees, for example. And W would be the flap horn height at, we use 1.5 inches. and then Y is the flap rotation in degrees. That was we used 28 degrees, and then X is unknown bell
Did you
crank
put
arm.
the numbers into it? And what you come out? You should have come out with 0.9.
Well, you know what? I actually need to figure out how to multiply. I think I needed to figure out how to multiply inches by degrees. It's
You're not multiplying inches by degree. Well, no, you don't have to worry about that. You don't have to worry about that.
I mean, over the Y is WZ, right? So the W is the inch and a half, and if the W is next to the Z, you'd multiply those two together.
Yeah,
So
multiply by 45.
So multiply 1.5 times 45.
Yeah.
Okay. 1.5 times 45, which is 67.5, and then I would divide that by Y, which is the flap
27,
rotation, which is,
and that's why I had the two numbers.
We use 28, and I come up with 42.
Wait, what'd you come up with?
42.
See, that's where the numbers were transposed. It should have been. It should have been 1 by 1, or it should be 1.5 by 27 divided by 45.
Oh, so the formula is not WZ over
Right.
Y?
I transformed, or I got a couple of numbers mixed up. Where I got confused there. So anyway, I'll try to get it posted on the CAD Classics vendor's point. If I can get it posted, but that's not what comes up. So something weird.
All
Or
right,
you could just use 9 degrees, right, John?
It's not 9 degrees.
I've
It's
seen
0.9 inches, 9/10 of an inch.
Hi, Mark. How you doing this evening, Mark?
Hey, good. Just the Nigerian electrons wouldn't cooperate to get on. It took me like 5 times to get on. So,
well, you know, Gary Sinclair is having a problem getting in too. So, speaking of that, let me bring up the chat box. Chat box. Yeah, Eddie Sutter says, "Hey all, I'm watching now, but be on later." And then Gary Sinclair says, "I'm trying to get on." So Gary is having difficulty getting in as well, Mark.
yeah, I don't know if it was just something over here or not. It would the link would take you to the site, and then it would start to log on, and it would just freeze. So,
okay.
It might be an 8x8 issue. Because Jitsi seemed to be better at being able to log on to it.
yeah, I just figured it was Nigerian electron. So, yeah,
Could be.
that's always difficult sometimes. Yeah.
Something's funny because it's like when I tried to hit the attachment, I got something that I downloaded a week ago into my download file, and it shouldn't be coming over into my documents file. There's something weird going on. Probably my computer, but you know, maybe it got infested into your Nigerian electrons.
You never know.
So,
I had a question.
Well, go.
I was watching some other videos, and you know how that goes. You watch videos and the mind starts to tinker. Somebody was mixing, like, say, epoxy and acetone, and they made almost like a brush on.
hey, Gary, get in.
Hi guys. It was very light, and they were brushing it on, like using it as a coating. I don't know if that's. Have you guys heard of that? Or?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
well, usually, I've used denatured alcohol with epoxy as opposed to acetone. denatured alcohol is what I've been using.
Right. Yeah. So my thought process on that is, since I'm over here and you know, there's no hobby store to run out and grab stuff. Yeah.
Right.
And you know, I was thinking of maybe like a couple of the engine bay and stuff like that. I don't know if that's used for like a regular protectant or what is it basically used like that for?
Fuel
For
proofing.
the engine bay,
Okay.
engine bay and the fuel tank bay.
Okay. Perfect. That'll be nice. Yeah. Yeah, because I didn't bring any dope over here. Yeah, I couldn't get.
Yeah. Well, the epoxy you'll find is much more durable than dope in those areas.
Okay. Well, very good. That's and just equal mix, right?
No, you well, whatever epoxy you got epoxy that you mix the same amount of hardener to the same amount of, yeah, and just mix it up and then thin it down with alcohol.
Okay.
So you get a nice brushing consistency and brush it in.
Yeah, perfect. That makes good sense.
Yeah, whatever the directions say, because like the SIG epoxy is like 2-to-1, but like the other ones, what's that one? The most popular ones like Z-epoxy, the other ones are all 1-to-1. So it depends. Just follow the directions and just thin it.
Sure.
After you follow the directions.
About epoxy and alcohol, you only use almost pure isopropyl alcohol, not denatured. And it's a nice trick to thin out the epoxy, but you don't want to use more than 10% alcohol to the epoxy.
So
Okay.
would you rather
Because you're going to mess up its composition.
Would you rather use acetone, Trent?
I know isopropyl. It's a good option.
Well, I know, but the question was, would acetone be better?
I never tried it.
Further?
Never tried
Yeah.
it. Never heard of it before.
I've tried it. I've tried alcohol and got it actually pretty thin and brushed it in on the bare balsa in my fuel tank area and engine bay. Never had a problem with it.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking. Isopropyl alcohol, not acetone.
Yeah, but I thinned it a lot more than 10%.
You might get away with it, but if you want to maintain its strength or something like that, sometimes it's not a good idea.
Well, it's not there for strength; it's for
but sometimes it's not going to cure. You can get into problems like that. I don't know how well it's going to cure at that point, because all its properties are just haywire because you introduce chemicals in its composition. So that's why you should be using sparingly.
The other thing you can do is you can warm the epoxy and it'll get thinner also. But you have to be careful if you're using too quick hardening. Like, you have to go to like 30-minute or longer so that it doesn't cure too quick.
Right.
If you're warming it, it'll cure quicker.
Right.
I think I found that one time I mixed it up, probably about 30% alcohol, the rest of it epoxy, but it actually heated up and cured real quick.
Exactly. Yeah. Would there be any issues with painting over it? Yeah. I guess once it cures, it's whatever will stick to it, I guess.
Yeah.
Hey, Phil.
Yeah, well,
hey,
this is my problem, Wing.
What you doing down here on the bottom of me?
You know what?
You usually up to the top.
I know. You know what? The cream rises to the top, so we got to just work our way up.
Well, I'm usually on the bottom, so I'm getting used to it.
They're not going to give it to us. Phil, you're not going to guess. We got to work our way up, man. I don't know what it takes, but we got to work our way up.
That's it. I tell you what, work a little harder. Boy, how's everybody been doing?
I'm doing well. We were just talking about thinning epoxy. Do you have anything to add about thinning epoxy?
I either put it in the microwave and warm it, or use a hair dryer or a heat gun. You can use. I have heard you can use alcohol, but if you do, use 91. Don't use the cheap stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I've only used denatured alcohol, and I've never had any issues.
You probably got better alcohol than we got out here, but you got to remember, I live in the South. The idiots out here will try to drink it.
I don't even know what denatured alcohol is, but that's what and I got that information from the forum. So that's where I got that tidbit from. I saw that in a bunch of threads about denatured alcohol.
Denature, it's isopropyl mixed with another. There are two alcohols that are mixed together, an isopropyl and something else. But I don't know what the something else alcohol is.
Are you sure you're not an engineer? That's one of the smartest cats I know. I mean, he is sharp.
But my process behind,
I didn't know that.
Hey guys, check it out. The Prowler wing panel, 80 grams.
Nice.
Nice deal.
Right.
80 grams.
Good deal.
But that's because it's not fully sheeted. You know, I just did that. So basically, what I did, I drew the lines at every 2 inches on my board in here, and then I built up a. I'm not sure if you can see it, but I have lines here every 2 inches.
Right.
So I cut my material. I put the trailing edge and I put the leading edge, and I cut all the cap strips at one time. Actually, I cut a 4-inch strip, and I just strip it off like every 1/4 of an inch. And I just glued everything here on top of a piece of paper, because paper and CA doesn't like each other. So I put it on top of paper so I can release it after that. And that's when I make the skins. And I put the strip of carbon fiber underneath the balsa in here. So to have a little bit extra strength for the spar material. And that's it. I glued it with the Elmer's wood glue, basically. Actually, it's the Gorilla Glue version of the Elmer's. And what I did, I just put the I put the I put the skins in a bathtub, so they are soaked, and then I took the Elmer's wood glue, I put it directly on the skin, and with my fingers I just went like that, and I just spread the glue around. But because the glue has water in it now, it's much thinner and it goes everywhere. And when you put it on a foam, it also soaks into the foam a little bit. So it has a pretty nice bond. And when the water evaporates, yeah, you have a little glue in there, a nice joint, and well, it worked for me anyways.
It works good. Tran, what is that airplane over there? That orange and looks like orange and natural, orange and yellow. I can't tell. What is that?
Oh, that's a present from Doug Patterson for Alexander.
Well, look at that. I haven't seen a meteor in a long time. That's a nice plane.
Yep, it's a Mentor.
Yeah, okay.
So what they did on this plane, they put the cables inside the wing. That's pretty much the big change. But pretty much is the same plane that Mike Lunke is using for Sam for his training, minus the flaps on Sam's plane. But
that's neat. Yeah, that one's a Mentor.
Mentor, okay.
Yeah, that's what they named it. So that's that. That's why I have this motor here. I was asking Alexander. I said, "Do you want an electric motor, or you want this one that sounds like a chainsaw?" I was like, "Chainsaw." Yeah.
Which one did he pick? The chainsaw. Which one did he pick? He don't know yet.
The chainsaw.
Oh Lord.
Make him clean it all the gunk off the wing every time. Pretty soon he'll be back to electric.
Yeah, he'll be back to electric again.
I'll give it a try. That doesn't mean that, if I fly electric, doesn't mean I don't know how to run this IC motor.
Oh no, I've seen you run IC. I've seen you run IC, and it flew well too. It ran well.
You missed my point. What I was saying there, Trey, and I said, have your son, have him take the rag and clean it off after each flight, and pretty soon he'll be wanting to go back to electric.
Ah, that's what you said. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah. So it's a very nice plane. It's well made. Looks solid.
Yeah.
I'll just run it and see what happens. I have this. Are these Uniflow tanks okay?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah.
I
A
remember
lot of our
those.
guys use those.
Yeah, I remember those.
Yeah. So
A lot of our guys still run those. You get them from. You get them.
because
Still get
this
them
is
from
about the
Brodak.
only thing I have room for. I could probably go with a 5-ounce regular wedge, but this should fit in here nicely.
What size fuel burner are you running? What's it going to be? A 40 or 46?
It's a 46.
You won't need 5 ounces. 4 ounces will be plenty.
Yeah, I think this is a 4 ounces. Look like a 4 ounces.
Yeah, it looks
It's
like
about 3 inches long, roughly. But I don't know what capacity.
Could be a
We're not gonna
3,
fly
but
long flights on it anyways.
my my Kiyosaki, and that's the only profile I've got right now with a 46 on it. But I fly 3 3/8 ounces of fuel for a full pattern, so you'll be all right.
You guys have Eddie Sutter. He had a comment. He said, "Why not just use Epoxy? I guess instead of thinning the epoxy." And my answer would be, yeah, if I had the Epoxy, I would use the Epoxy. But if the hobby shop is closed, I would just thin the epoxy and use that.
Yeah. On my stuff, I use only MGS on my stuff. All of the molding that I do and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
MGS is a very nice, very thin epoxy that penetrates very nicely just about everywhere.
MGS?
Yeah, but don't bother looking for it. They only come in gallons, and they're like $200 worth of stuff in there. So
Wow.
So forget it.
Yeah, that would turn a cheap hobby into an expensive hobby.
Yeah.
That's what the guys used to build real airplanes.
Yeah, that's also used. It's the only epoxy. Actually, that's the only epoxy that's actually approved for full-size aircraft, manned aircraft.
Yeah.
And it's the only epoxy that's used for lamination, that's used for that, and that's being sold at aircraft spruce.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's specially formulated for that. And it has some UV built into it, stuff like that, UV blockers, and I mean, it's really nice, and it's very thin too. I mean, it just is not exactly like the Windex, but it's almost like the Windex.
Wow, amazing.
Just a little bit thicker than that.
That is thin. No wonder you're able to vacuum bag it out so easily. Well, not easily, but so well. Gosh, if it's thin, it wouldn't be all that. Well, you wouldn't have to fight it being so thick. The stuff I use
it penetrates. The reason for that is that what happens, the thinner the epoxy, the easier is to penetrate through the carbon fibers or the whatever you want to penetrate through, because it goes right through it.
Yeah, the last thing I did that I tried to vacuum bag was a set of sailplane wings for a Falcon 880, and oh my goodness, that stuff was like molasses. It was awful. Tried to set up too quick. I kept thinking we're working too slowly for some reason, and it turned out it wasn't we were working too slowly. It's just that the temperature in the room had dropped a lot more than I thought it had.
That's actually an asset, to have a cold environment when you do that. It's a good thing. As long as you have thin epoxy, because the thick epoxy in cold gets even thicker. So
that's what this did.
Yeah, but because this is thin epoxy, and it's for me, it's cold. I like it. I'm happy with that.
Yeah. I tell you what, I see John's got his co-pilot there.
Yep.
Yeah, he's checking me out. I'm getting a cat scan.
Oh me.
Yeah, ask him if he went outside and found some kitties over there.
Oh Lord.
I talk to my cat all the time.
I tell you what, I went to the store the other day looking for springs to I bought a ARF kit, and I needed horn the horns didn't have brass sleeves on them, so I bought springs to go on the sleeves, You know what I'm talking about. I can't talk tonight. But anyway, while I was there, this lady come in with this little dog, and she called it a teddy bear. They got designer dogs now. These things are not purebred. The mother's purebred, one breed, I forgot what. The father's a purebred something else. But when you put the two together, they're calling them designer dogs, but they are not purebreeds. And they're $4,500. You got to be kidding me. For something that's not a purebred?
That's what a Labradoodle is.
Well, Labradoodle's one of them, but Labradoodle is I don't remember if it's this year or next year. It will be an AKC registered dog. It only takes 4 generations, and it can become registered. But these dogs are all. Do what?
My little dog here is a designer dog. He's called a Chug.
A Chug.
Cross between a Chihuahua and a Pug.
Oh, that'd be a cute little dog.
Well, you guys, let's get back to model airplanes.
Let's get back to airplanes. Okay. I tell you what, that flips me out, some of the stuff though. And I saw an airplane this week that if you talk about, I got to get, I can't think of anybody's name tonight, but anyway, the guy that did the junkyard dog, I got one for him.
Oh, Jeff Riley.
Yeah, Jeff Riley. This dude hangs around Hobby Park a lot. He flies radio, but he keeps coming over and talking to us. And one of the guys crashed a plane last week, and the wing was destroyed, but the fuselage looked pretty good. A few months ago, a guy crashed a plane, and the tail feathers were left. And then a few weeks ago, well, I guess it's been a couple. Anyway, at some point, somebody crashed one, and the wing was left. Well, he's taken all 3 of these airplanes and put them together. You talk about a junkyard dog. Now, this thing's a junkyard dog, but it flies well. He put a 46 on that thing, and it flies well. I couldn't believe it. I mean, it's got an elliptical wing out of Tom Dixon's Phoenix, which is his variant on a Thunderbird.
Right.
The fuselage looks like a chipmunk, and the tail looks like a dirty bird or something. I don't know what the heck it was. But anyhow, huh? No, it's control line.
He's flying a control line?
He let me fly it. He asked me to fly it. He said, "I can't fly a pattern. Would you put a pattern on it?" I said, "If you'll fly it a couple of times and let me know that it will fly and not fly apart, I'll fly it. But I don't want to be the one to destroy it for you." So he flew it twice, and then he said, "Here, try it." So I went up and flew it, and it flew well. I thought the man was crazy asking me to fly his airplane. I had just flown my Nobler, and the safety plug came out of it as I came inverted. Had to land the thing inverted. Boy, that broke my heart. I just had got that thing back together. I tore the rudder off of it again.
Oh, no.
Well, it's downstairs. I just finished putting it back together, but I got to put the yellow trim on it and number 6 on the rudder. It'll be ready to fly again, but not this. It could have been ready to fly tomorrow, but I'll wait and fly it when the guys aren't there. I still think somebody, well, never mind. I can't understand. I've never had one of those safety plugs pull out before. Something's not right. And a couple of my guys do not like me flying electric. That's why don't you fly?
Hey there, hi there, ho there.
Hey there, sir. How are you?
Not too bad.
Well, that's good.
Well, I've been digging since you guys been on, and you need the muffler for the SF?
Yes.
It's the same as a Super Tiger, like a Super Tiger 40. I knew my brother had bought one. I thought it was here. And this is he said he bought it for a Super Tiger 34.
Okay.
And that will work.
Okay.
Actually, the inside part is a little small, but it's on a Super Tiger 40. It's a little small too. That's what I test. It does fit on a Super Tiger 40, and I believe the 34 is the same one. But that's the only thing that works on that SF. Randy may have one. I'm not sure.
You need a muffler for an SF-46.
Yeah.
Yep.
I may have one. I just bought an SF for parts, so I may have one. Let me look. I'll run down and look in a few minutes. I just came up steps, so I'm gonna take a powder for a minute, but I'll go down and look in a minute.
Yeah, I mean, this is a brand new motor in the box, still in the plastic I just took out, and there's no muffler with it. So I don't know if it came with a muffler. I bought this at the Nats from that hobby shop that was kind of by that old farmhouse back there.
Yeah, that's a neat place.
When it was there, and
oh, is it gone?
Huh?
Is it gone?
Yeah, it's
the hobby
gone.
shop. Oh
Yeah.
shoot! Oh shoot!
Hey guys, I have a little something for you guys.
All right.
Remember when I told you about the Kevlar rope for handles?
Right.
So I bought some of it. This is the Kevlar rope that I bought. It is roughly a little bit more than 1/16 of an inch, or almost like 78 thousandths or so, which is 5/64 or so. So this is the rope. This is rated for 300 pounds.
Wow,
okay?
that ought to be good.
This is rated for 300 pounds. And I just want to show you something when I'm doing a conversion. First of all, you have these plates for your adjustment. What you want to do, you want to make sure that whatever is going through, try to clean it up, polish it a little bit if you can. If you're really that fanatic, really doesn't really need it, but you don't want to have sharp corners in here. That's all there's to it. So I took all the sharp corners out of these pieces here, and I also over here on this piece,
Yeah.
I also took the sharp corners out of there, right?
Right.
So this is important to do that. So
you can use an oversized drill, and that's how we do it at work for different stuff. So if it's drilled with a 1/4 inch, if you step up the drill a little bit, it'll chamfer. If you don't have a chamfering bit, but you can buy a chamfering bit cheap at Harbor Freight.
Yeah, and another thing that's the thing is, like, when you come in here, when this comes down, you want to make sure the inner hole where the rope is gonna be that it doesn't have sharp edges either, right?
Right.
Okay, so now that being said, right, what you have is, this is what I usually do. So you have your slider in. I'm going to just put my screw in there. I'm just going to show you how long it takes to make a conversion like this. This is the other slider. Where is it? Okay, like this. I'm putting the screw on it. Okay. And now this is the one in the center, obviously. And it doesn't have to be this handle. It can be any handle, obviously, right? I mean, it's just like a the statement, right? So then I'm taking the Kevlar and I'm just running it through. And if you have issues with this, what you want to do is
spit on it. Stick it in your mouth and spit on it a little bit.
What I like to do, I just give it a little bit of thin CA. It just cleaned up the end. I mean, it locked all the strands on that end. Take the scissors, cut it off. And you can tell the difference right now. This is the end with CA. This is the one without.
Yeah.
Okay. So now my life is super easy. I can take this, thread it through. Okay, so there goes one. I'm going through the center now. Let me hold like this so you guys can see it somewhat. This is the middle one. Okay. If I can see what I'm doing, I might even get it in there.
It always helps to be able to see.
Yeah, once in a while, yeah. It might be of some value.
I would say something now, but we're live.
So,
So
so this is through here. This is through here. So I'm already running it through the whole system, right?
Right.
I'm cutting it off.
Let us see it.
Okay. So it's cut off. And I'm going to take some shrink tubing. This is green.
is that the bigger
Doesn't matter.
stuff?
No.
That's that little stuff.
Yeah, so this is the shrink tubing that you use in the electronics stuff, right?
Right.
So I'm putting the tubing in, right? Like this.
Right. Right.
Okay. This is super simple stuff. I mean, like anybody can do it. And then you take the Kevlar like this.
Right.
Make a
Right.
simple knot. Like this.
Right.
Just pull it tight. And then what I'm going to do with this shrink tubing, I'm going to bring it back over. These two guys.
This might be famous last words. That looks awful small.
Oh, you got it.
By golly, he did it.
There it is.
Trent, you're a talented
Very
rascal.
good. Very good.
And now I'm going to take a heat gun. If you give me a second.
Sure. While he's doing that, you guys, Ed.
Portable heat gun. It keeps ends of rope from fraying.
Right.
It shrinks tubing.
Also, light your cigarette.
Guys, let me just make a comment real quick. You guys, let me make a quick comment. Ed Carlisle said he had planned to join us tonight, but something came up. He's unable to, and he'll try again Monday.
Sounds good. Lee, looking forward to seeing you.
Only because I'm new to this whole thing. Is what would be the advantage of Kevlar over the stranded stainless?
The big advantage.
It doesn't break.
It doesn't break, and it doesn't have memory, so it doesn't spring out. And then, if you got light enough controls and you have heavy wire through your handle, if you see them, and your wires coming out of your handles are really sticking out or sticking up, even whatever. When you're flying, if the lines come a little bit loose, and the wire will pull back to its natural state, we just made an input into the airplane. So now your plane does something you didn't want it to do.
Gotcha. I understand. So it's control, the feel. I mean, the mechanical side of it, like you said, but it also gives you a better feel.
It does give you a better feel. This almost feels like the ones that use the solid carbon handle that just has an outlet out of it.
Yeah, I mean, look at this.
Sure.
It has no pressure in it, and it follows exactly. You know, if you have even the lightest tension on it, it's gonna go straight in, right? It doesn't have any of the springiness of the that you probably get from the,
and we don't have to buy all new handles.
See, now you put red on the upline, and then you know where your upline always goes.
Yeah, I mean, there are so many ways of doing this stuff. It's just whatever you want to do. You can color code it. You can buy this shrink tubing in different colors. Fry's Electronics has all kinds of colors, all kinds of diameters of tubing that you can use for many different applications, and it's easy to use. I mean, look how much time it took me to retrofit one handle, and it's simple as this, man. I mean, it just really didn't take much time, and here's the second one is done.
Right.
That's faster than I can crash an airplane.
So there you go, Steve. Your dilemma is over, right?
Yeah.
Steve,
In a former life, I was a master parachute rigger, and we used Kevlar on some of the small like square reserves. Where do you source the Kevlar? Because I think that's one that would be one source that I could think of. But is that a
Yep, there you go, Tom.
Sorry,
Put up
guys,
all
just a second.
the different colors in it. Did you get that at Harbor Freight?
Hobby King.
Oh, Hobby King. Okay. Harbor Freight has a deal like that too.
And there you go. This handle is done.
That's pretty good.
that's pretty
So
neat.
It's
where'd
ready
you
to
get
go.
your Kevlar?
Where do I get it? I went to Amazon, and you just search for Kevlar rope, and what I use this one, which is I think it's 300 pound. I think it's 300 pound. This is 300 pound test Kevlar, and I also use this one, which is about 30,000 thickness. I put this in my lead outs.
Wow.
And as for the lead outs, this guy, what I do, I just put it through the bell crank, you tie it up, make a nice knot over there. It really doesn't matter. It doesn't fray, it doesn't break, it doesn't, as long as you have your holes a little bit rounded off. Kevlar is just, it really doesn't,
Chafe.
I don't know, doesn't break, yeah. And the handle is just usually as normal. So this is right now you can consider this, technically it's a hard point handle with this. It acts like that. It's no stretch, no nothing.
I'm going to try that, Trey.
A hard point handle before trying?
Huh?
I'm going to try that.
Have you flown a hard point handle?
Oh, yes, he has. You've flown a hard point handle.
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a hard point handle, and I also have this guys here, right? But when I flew a handle like this before the hard point handle, I can't tell the difference. My plane flies the same. There's nothing there.
You know, I was thinking on a handle like this, that if you made one up, a French or handle, whatever, if you drill the hole down through this,
yep,
you could actually run it around the top and then just bring it out the hole you wanted.
Yep, exactly. That'll work.
You know, I thought about that. And then
I kind of like your leopard skin handle, Steve.
Huh?
I like your leopard skin print handle.
Yeah.
That matches his underwear.
That matches my underwear.
That's kind of self-incriminating. How would you know that's the kind of underwear he has?
That does. That's off my waistband. When my underwear wear out, I take the waistband off and use that.
TMI, brother. TMI.
and another thing I wanted to say here is, here you go. You know how those handles that you have, wires that kind of sit like this?
Yeah.
This is not.
It's a good point. That's another good point.
That is another good point.
So you have none of this stuff going on over there.
All right, Tran, you talked me into it. I'm going to order some rope.
Yeah. So how much
this is rigid. I mean,
how much that roll of Kevlar, the 300-pound roll, cost you?
I paid like $11 for 100 feet or something like that.
Okay.
I'm a cheapskate, man.
Well, no, you're not. You're using that MGF epoxy. You never can claim that you're a cheapskate anymore.
I had no choice.
He does a lot of molding.
Trust me. And when you do a bunch of planes, trust me, you go through that. You're gonna eat through that epoxy. I can look here on my. All right, you guys go ahead.
All right, we'll go ahead.
So, Mark, did you get the hinge fixed on your Magician?
I did. I ended up like we were talking about. Just cut out both piece of the elevator and the stabilizer, and got it all stuck back together. So I got a fair amount done this week, and then spent probably equal time repairing what I broke. I have to learn it's not to be a bull in a china shop, like when I pick it
Yeah,
up.
I know that feeling.
Yeah. Oh, I probably broke like 3 ribs, you know.
Hmm.
Just
Guys, I'm sorry. This Kevlar is not rated for 300 pounds. It's rated for 500.
Wow.
oh,
Well, you won't break that.
You're right. Yeah.
You won't break that.
Yeah, that's even Len and my airplanes won't break it.
Yeah, no kidding.
I've got a couple lumber wagons too.
I was gonna go electric with the Magician, and I looked at the Brodak kits and talked to Dennis there, and there's just not enough room between the front and the wing without having to go about a half inch or an inch into the wing. Yeah, at least with that kit. So I think I'll stick to the McCoy 35 on this one again, and just go with that.
Ain't nothing wrong with the McCoy.
What you can do, Mark, is when you get ready to build your next one, if you want to go electric, pick out one that'll. Dennis has done some electric conversions on a lot of them already.
Exactly. I talked to him, and he said it's kind of the same thing. I think there's just if I had an inch and a half more, it would work. A little bit bigger plane, I think, with a longer nose, because I don't know, CG issues, and by the time I got the battery and everything in there, I think I'd be weighting the tail again. So yeah.
Yeah.
So, guys, one last thing I want to say. I in the chat box of our group here, I placed the links to this Kevlar rope on Amazon. It's $12 a spool, and the little this little spool of the smaller Kevlar, it's 100 and no, it's 200 feet. So you can make quite a few planes out of it, and it's $12, $11.99. And the other one, it's 500 pounds, 100 feet. But I think out of one of these guys, you can do a few handles.
Several. Yeah.
Hey, Tryon, Eddie Sutter has a question about the Kevlar rope. He asks if the rope will work on handles like the Hot Rock that doesn't have a pinch bolt, or will it slip?
It'll slip.
It'll slip on that probably.
It's braided, so probably gonna be as draggy as any other thing that's the cable that you usually use. You can try it and see what happens.
No, you don't want to try it.
For sure, it's stronger than what you have over there. But I don't know the handle. I have to look at it. Anyways, yeah.
Yeah, if it's the thinner ID rope, it'll probably slip.
Yeah, and the Hot Rock's handle, the stiffness of the stainless steel cable is part of what keeps that the adjustment solid. So if you thread something through there, it doesn't have the same spring or stiffness as as braided stainless steel cable. It won't lock, or the friction won't be. It'll tend. I believe it will tend to slip.
Yeah, I think I know what you guys are talking about. It's just like a zigzaggy going in and out.
Yeah, exactly. It's metal and it's got 2 holes in it. So the steel cable comes up through the handle, goes under the inside of one hole, around the top, and through the top of back to the top hole and out the other side.
Yeah, I think with the only with the 2 holes, it would definitely slip. I agree with that. I do agree with that. However, if you drill 2 additional holes in there, and you have this zigzagging double time, right? I think would be a little bit more rigid. Or you can just the way you route it. If you route like this and loop it around one time, and then go to the other side, is gonna tight now, but to adjust it from that point on, I'd be maybe kind of hard to adjust it as if you loop it around.
Yeah.
Make like a 360 between the two holes. I don't know. But this, yeah, I mean, look at it. Look at how droopy it is. I mean, it's just like has no it has no spring into it.
Well, I'm
It's
intrigued.
basically
I
a
might.
modeling handle.
I'm intrigued, trying. I probably will try it.
Yep.
Hey, you guys, let me make an announcement. Hey, you guys, we have like 15 concurrent viewers out there in our audience. So I want to encourage the audience. If you have any questions about what we're talking about, post a question on the chat box. And we've been thinking about how to improve the show, and I was encouraged to ask the audience out there on YouTube, what do they want us to do, or what do they want to see that would that they would appreciate. And don't forget to like and subscribe to this YouTube video. It helps the analytics, and it helps Sparky. And so please do that. And don't forget our memberships. That helps support the channel as well, and the super chat. By the way, speaking of super chats, I haven't seen a super chat in a long time, and that's down in the bottom of the chat box. It's like a $. So just hit that, and we appreciate your donations. Thank you very much.
All right.
Peter, what are you working on? Looks like a 46 or bigger.
Yeah, it's a 46 VF. I just got back. The 46 VF I just got back from Randy.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
I'm making up gaskets and things for the header.
Oh yeah.
And this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Back.
What do you use for gasket material?
Yeah.
No, what I did is a while back I bought the ABC liner for this, the ABC piston and liner, and I sent it off to Randy to have it installed. He turned around and replaced the front and rear bearings and cleaned it up, and I just got it back. So
looks nice. But what are you using for the gasket material? That's what I'm saying.
Exactly what it is. It's mineral gasket material. You pick it up at any Pep Boys or Advanced Auto Parts. It's same stuff you would use for either exhaust gasket. It's just comes in a sheet.
Okay.
And that's what I'm using.
Back in the old Peter, for several years, they told us we had to use all this highfalutin stuff to make the gaskets for that, and everybody was using this copper stuff that they put. You poured it out and you put it between two little pieces of wire, and you leveled it out with a razor blade and waited the next day and made it up, because that's the way Randy was telling us to do it. And I did just what you're doing there, and it worked fine. I've been doing it that way ever since.
Yeah, I mean, it's for the exhaust header. It's not like a cylinder head gasket or a backplate gasket or anything like that.
I got to thinking, I use that stuff on a 426 Hemi for drag racing. Why not use it on a model airplane motor?
Yeah, exactly.
Now I found some copper
Peter,
foil.
here's a little trivia for you.
I've used copper foil, like a 5006.
That'll work. You can get it.
Yeah, I have that too, but I didn't think it was, for the exhaust header gasket.
What you got, Trine?
This is the motor that I ran before I moved. Recognize it?
Yeah,
Can I have that motor?
It's an old OS 35.
Yes. I'm looking for one of those.
Yeah, this is an old OS 35. This is the last motor I ran before I switched to the 46 VF, Peter.
Okay, there we go.
Oh, that's a big change, going from that to the 46 VF.
I have this one that still has the original. This one has the original Venturi and the original Venturi.
Nice.
And the original needle valve yet. It's still in it.
Wow, very nice.
Yeah. So Peter, I was flying a profile with a wing that looked like a combat ship wing with flaps, and the fuselage was balsa and was kind of weak and was vibrating, and this motor would quit everywhere, would quit where I needed it most, right?
Oh, no.
And And that's when I made my slight change, you know. From that plane, I went to an SV-12, actually was the Intrepid, a Randy Smith kit. And I also bought the 46 VF with tune pipe and the whole 9 yards. Slight change.
Yeah,
And
slight change, all right.
when I flew that Intrepid with the 46 VF for the first time, after I landed the plane, I'm going,
yeah.
Wow.
what just happened here?
I built a big Cardinal and put a 46 VF in it, and I thought there is no way this motor is going to pull this airplane. It's just too big. It pulls it very well. It's still hanging in my basement.
Yeah, and I want to tell you, well, on the Intrepid after that, before I flew the Intrepid for the first time, I knew how to do a horizontal 8. I knew how to fly inverted, do inside loops and outside loops, and I dabble into a little bit into the squares, right? But 1 month later, I knew how to fly everything.
You had a plane to do it then, though.
Exactly. It's like at that moment I said, I'm going to just play safe. I don't care about bottoms. I don't care about any of that. I'm just going to take it easy, play safe. Whatever is comfortable, I'm going to fly within my level of comfortability, right?
Right.
And I start to try this and just try it and try it and try it. And about a month later, I knew how to fly the whole pattern super fast. But all I did when I start flying that plane, all I was worried about, where do I want to put the plane? Oh my God, the engine is not running right. Oh my God, the plane is light on the lines. Oh my God, this is not, all of those worries were just out the door on a side, and I was not worried about a single thing other than where do I want to place this plane on the sky.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
that's what happens when you get a real airplane.
Gasket.
Yeah, I always want to put my plane back in the truck the same way I took it out.
That would be nice.
That doesn't always happen with me, though.
Why is that?
That doesn't always happen with any of us.
I don't know. I got my best flying plane, John Paris. I bought it from him. He had it all trimmed out and stuff. I mean, I put a Evo 36 on it. I took it to the FMC, let everybody fly it. Oh, this thing flies so good, and they got such a good engine running. Well, it's fixed now. I got to try to fly it again.
Uh-oh.
What'd you do? Pick up the handle upside down?
The question is, why did you crash it? It's no analysis after that, no afterthoughts, none of that? Or
it's usually a brain fart that does the end.
Now, I say it was because of I don't know. Only thing I know is that the ground here is like 4 feet higher than it is in other states.
The ground came up to smite thee.
Yeah, it sucked it right in on the bottom of that third loop again.
All right.
I'm gonna tell you
what I'm doing right now. I'm doing the transition, Steve. I'm doing the transition of from flying almost like instinctively, like I used to fly before, to visualizing the pattern and putting the plane on a choo-choo tracks. It's like you have a railroad tracks on the sky, and you look over there, you fly the plane over there. So what I'm doing, I'm a lefty, so I have to fly over my right shoulder. So I can fly with my right shoulder. When I'm getting close to the maneuver, I'm just kind of using my peripheral vision to know where the plane is. But I'm looking already at the place where I'm going to do maneuver and kind of picture like a circle, like if you do a loop, right? So as he comes in, I'm kind of focused more on a circle than anything else. And then, boom, I just put it on the tracks and just track with it.
Yeah, the only thing I think I'm doing is that I do the same thing. Everybody said, look where you're going to do, where your maneuver is going to be and stuff like that. But I think I get tunnel vision. That first loop is fine, and then it goes, bam, I hit the ground.
Because you focus on the plane after that. You switch your focus probably from there to the plane. If you focus on the overall, I mean, when you drive your car, do you look at the nose of your car, where the car is
Well,
at? You
I
look
know
ahead of the car, where you going, right?
I know how to look, and people don't believe me, but when I shoot trap, if I'm really seeing well, I can see my shot. I can see the difference in that black. It's like a little bit of a dust.
But do you look at your gun? You look at your target more than
I
anything,
look
huh?
at the target, and I know it.
Hey, Tran, something you said just got me thinking. Being a lefty, you know, flying over your shoulder, you go around a circle off your shoulder like that?
What?
Because when you're flying off your shoulder, are you flying like that and then stop and let the plane fly to the center?
Yep.
Is that what I'm? Of course, I'm a righty. I do something similar as a righty, but what I'll do is I'll have it out here in front of me.
No,
but when
fly
I
to
get,
the side. You always fly
I'm
to over your right shoulder, and as
I'm
you come,
right-handed.
your maneuver is here, right? So your maneuver is here. You stop. Now wait for the plane to come here. It's more than enough time to wait
That's
for
right.
it to visualize and go for it.
Here's what I
You do your
here's what
maneuver.
I do. Here's why I do it this way, because I can feel if the wind is changing. If I've got it here, then I know where the wind is changing. Now, when I get 90 degrees to where I'm going to do my maneuver, I turn and then fly myself into it. So in other words, instead of stopping, I turn and fly myself into it. I can feel the wind on the back of my head. That's why I do it that way.
There are two laps between maneuvers.
Yep.
As soon as I'm done with my first maneuver, throughout the first lap after the maneuver, I already know where I'm going to do my maneuver.
Yeah, you pick out. I pick out a landmark, something. I'm saying, okay,
yeah,
there's
exactly.
the landmark. That's where downwind
so I'm
is.
going to do it there on the next lap, and I already know the wind is. I don't have to wait for it at the time I'm doing the maneuver. It's too much to worry about.
You're not flying evidently then where you get a lot of thermals coming through your field, or where you've got a lot of wind changes. I've had it change at 90 degrees, even 180 degrees in one revolution.
Yeah. Welcome. I must have been gone the day you came to Hobby Park. We have that happen. I mean, that's daily.
Well, it happens, right? It happens, but sometimes you have to, I don't think it happens that quickly. It's gradual.
No, it happens that quick.
It's only if you have a thermal in the middle of the circle.
Yeah.
And in that case, you typically it's going to change the directions, and it's only going to change. Okay, so it's coming north to south, or it's coming south to north, or it's coming east to west. There's some variation. Then at that point, you just fix something in between the two where you know where it's going to come from, and that's where you do your maneuvers.
You know what? A thermal is pretty wide.
I've been doing it this way
not necessarily very small, and the thermal will suck the air from the surrounding areas right into it. Just all the air from the is going to converge into it, right?
Yeah. If you wind up catching the thermal on this passage you're going around, you catch the leading edge of the thermal, and you come around the next one, you're catching the trailing edge of the thermal where you want to do your. So you wind up with wind change at least 90 degrees.
Yeah, that looks horrible.
So what's happening? What's happening there? I've been doing it this way a long time, and it works for me. So we'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, everybody has their own style.
John?
Sometimes I don't know where the wind is coming from, and I'm saying like, well, it's being this direction all day long, so I'm just gonna go there.
I can feel the wind on the top of my head. I always know which way it's blowing.
Oh Lord!
That's just your breath blowing back in your face.
Oh,
that's only when I got my mask on.
I've got pictures at Hobby Park. We were out there and got hit with a rainstorm. Hobby used to have trees always, just three sides of the circle. We had trees. and the moisture came in, and you know the fog that comes with a spring storm that comes up really quick on a hot day. It was circled. It looked like a donut, a giant donut laying over the field, and you could see it circling. It was just making circles all the way around, and I mean that means it was the middle of a thermal is what it was, but it was the eeriest thing. And I happened to have my camera there that day, so I took a picture of it. That was before cell phones that have good cameras in them, so I have a color picture of the wind. But
well, that was like when we went to France. We were told how bad the wind was there, you know, and why a lot of flyers didn't want to go to the World Championships because of the wind. And we get there, everybody's talking. You got to be careful of the wind here and all this kind of stuff. And Samantha said, "This ain't nothing compared to my field." And they said, "Your field's worse than this." She said, "Oh yeah," but I'm thinking that might be why sometimes I crash too, because the wind is so bad.
As long as you know where it's coming from.
Yeah, but you don't know where it's coming from.
Changes. Yeah, because it keeps changing. That's how it is at our field too.
Because it's got trees it got trees on the east, trees on the west.
Oh, there's the problem. Yeah.
One on the south, in a garage sitting there.
Wow.
And then the back part of it is open. If you get a day with wind out of the south, it is beautiful to fly there.
Exactly. Because it's like runway air.
Yeah. It's really nice. But when we get prevailing westerlies, I think everybody does here, you know, in the U.S., it comes across them trees and swirls, then it hits some other trees and does some nasty.
Oh yeah. It's just a write-off.
We had a few guys pancake rotor. Airplane does that.
Rotor, that's it.
Flutter, dying bird deal. Boom.
That's probably why you're crashing on catching these rotors and pushing you back.
See,
that's what we get at the bean field too. Same thing.
Is it? And I don't know if that's part of it.
Most definitely.
I don't feel it. But I don't know what's going on over there by them trees, you know. The wind's hitting it, like making that circular pattern. You know?
Oh yeah, because then you can't read it at all because it's changing every time you come around the circle.
Yeah.
Now, Steve,
put up a wind sock.
Do you have a cigarette in your mouth?
Do I? No, I don't fly with a cigarette in my mouth.
Okay. I know Bob Gieske had that pipe, right? And he used that pipe to tell where the wind was at.
Yeah, just puff and
What
okay.
I think it is that the airplane is 60, 70 feet closer to them trees than I am. Yep. And I'm not feeling, you know, I'll feel wind on the back of my neck. I know I'm in the right direction. But
not
some
necessarily if you've got those trees.
Yeah. But some days we have 6 flags around the circle with streamers on them. And
they're all going toward the center circle.
We're in a different direction.
Yeah.
Wow.
Steve, the only place you want the flag is on the side where you have the open air. The other sides, you don't want flags there because they're not giving you a true reading ever.
Yeah, we got.
See what I'm saying?
We got the true.
You want the flag as far away from the trees and the buildings as possible. Otherwise, it's not giving you a true reading.
Yeah, what it is that we have. I forget where I was at, but there was a piece of fiberglass tube or pipe that was 20-some feet long, and I don't know what it was for. But it was on a dumpster, and I seen this big thing sticking out there. I'm like, what the hell is that? You know, and I went and got it. So I strapped it to my van up on the ladder and brought it home. And then we took and put that on a basketball hoop pole. So that's hooked on there. And then we got a regular windsock that goes on that, so that we can see where the wind is and actually, you know, kind of how fast it is. because it's one of them has a 20 miles an hour and it's supposed to drop down to whatever. But so we know which way the wind is coming if I was standing on the garage, but and it kind of gives us a little bit of a sense of how bad the turbulence is going to be. If it's coming in kitty corner to the trees or if it's coming direct onto the trees. But we have it above the trees, so.
All right, guys, I have.
What's the most fun? It's flying on an 85, 90-degree day in the middle of the summer on black asphalt with an airplane that's light on the lines and dead calm.
Oh, that's suicide.
No,
Don't even bother.
Back in the day, that's what we used to pray for. I remember looking out the window and saying, "My God, does it look like it's blowing wind too much? No, it looks like the leaves aren't moving at all. Perfect."
No, it's not perfect. That's the worst thing to fly in.
That is the worst thing to fly. Fly through your own wake.
I hate flying in dead air. Hate it.
I like about a 5 to 7 mile an hour wind.
I got
just enough.
Me too. That's
Where you're
perfect.
waiting.
That's
You
perfect.
spend your whole flight backpedaling.
Yeah.
You out of here?
Trying to.
No, I just have I have to do something right now, and I'm gonna take the opportunity to have like a little lesson in handling composites, if you want to.
Sure.
You know, how to make your life easy with composites. So this is one example. I was trying to make a 90-degree trough, right, with
Right.
carbon fiber on the inside, carbon fiber on the outside. So the problem is that when you have the unidirectional in this direction, it wants to split up and frail, right? So what do? You put fiberglass on one side of it. So because the strands of the fiberglass you can set it up at 45 degrees, then both sides of the strand work to keep the strands of the unidirectional in one place. So what I did, and this is kind of my weapon of choice, is the 3M77, obviously, and this is an example of stuff. You see that?
Yeah.
This is actually what goes inside of it. You can see the fiberglass.
Yeah.
The carbon fiber is underneath it, and it's all sandwiched and held together with the 3M77 right now. Okay.
All right.
So this is like a super easy trick to do, and when you put the epoxy in this stuff, it's gonna dissolve the 3M77 as if it's not there. But the trick to it is that you have to be very, very sparingly with the 3M77.
Yep.
Okay. So what I did, I wet this stuff and I put some cling wrap on top of it on both sides, and I just fold it and I put it in between some on a 90-degree channel, and you can put another 90-degree channel on the inside, clamp it together, you're done. That's it.
Your battery box.
Yeah,
That's
for the
way you make
battery
your
box.
battery box. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is one of them. Another thing is, like, for example, I'm going to show you right now how simple it is to add a carbon spar to your sheeting. All right. Or actually to a balsa stick. It really doesn't matter. It's all the same. Right. So let's say you buy your stuff and you have it cut to the proper width. What I like to do is just take the 3M77 and just from a very long distance, just very little. I almost didn't put anything on it, just like, that's it.
All right.
So you see it? And now I have a piece of scrap balsa over here. And you take it and say you position it like this, right?
Okay.
And I say, oh my goodness, this is crap, I don't like it. Well, very difficult. You pick it up back up and put it.
Wow.
And now you say, perfect.
Right.
And then you can take thin CA. So what I'm doing, I'm using the gravity here. with pince and just walk it down. And as you can see, this takes a very long time. It's extremely difficult to do.
You had to go to college to learn that?
The College of Tryon, maybe.
Yeah.
Hard knocks.
And this strip over here, as long as you keep it in a straight direction, and you don't do this like that, like you bend it like a pretzel up and down like this.
Right.
You see that shape?
Right.
If you hold it straight, this has the equivalent strength of a piece of balsa this width and 2 inches tall.
Wow.
And
Yeah,
the amount of weight that I've added here, it's negligible.
For sure.
This is how hard it is to work with this stuff.
We always did that in RC. We always cut a piece 1/4 inch and laid it on top of the spar before we sheeted.
Mm-hmm.
And
we did in sailplanes.
Yep. This is excellent. Okay, here's another lesson. Lesson number 2. Let me get the wing first and explain what I'm trying to achieve here. Find it. Yep, there it is. Okay. So I am trying to put a sheet of fiberglass in here, right?
Okay.
And the problem with fiberglass is when it's thin, like this, it's kind of hard to handle, especially let's say if you want to use that what was that, the 1/2 ounce glass or something like that.
Right.
When you are handling this, right, it looks nice and neat, right? But if you pull on it like that, look at that.
I guess
It looks like a pretzel, right?
Right.
You lose the fiber direction, you lose everything. So it's kind of hard to maneuver it and just put it down and whatever, you know? So here's a trick to it. Wax paper. Just take your piece of wax paper about the size of what you're going to use. And again, I'm going to use my handy dandy. Just give it a little bit of 377 on it, right? And I'm going to put it like this. And in this case, I want to have my fibers at plus minus 45 degrees, right? That's because it's what I need, right? And yeah, this happens sometimes. But you can, all right, so it stays on the, so I want the fibers to go at plus minus 45 degrees. So I'm going to take this roll and I have lots of it, but so I'm just going to put my fiberglass like this at 45 and I'm just going to unroll it on top of it.
Is that 3/4 or half or?
Looks like half.
This actually it's a 1.6. So wow. I'm just unrolling it like that. Let me move this stuff out of the way. And I can even slide it down. Like this. And now guess what? I have a nice piece of fiberglass. I'm going to cut it off. Give me a second. Yeah, don't worry about that. It's just noise. There you go.
Don't pay attention to the man behind the curtain. I like to use that sheetrock thing.
Mm-hmm. All right. So look at this.
Yeah, I'm checking it out. Pretty cool.
All the fibers are being held in the correct direction. It's very easy to handle. You can move it. You can cut it to whatever size you need.
That's
And
awesome.
I'm going to just do that right now. And I'm going to come back to you, okay?
All right.
I'll do it right now, and I'm going to come back to you, okay?
Alrighty.
All right, cool.
That is awesome, Triumph.
So this is kind of tricks of the trade when you are handling um, composite stuff. A little bit of 3M77, put them on something. Now this can be used with epoxy on it or something like that, and when you put it on top of something, a day later you can just peel this wax paper off.
Yeah,
Yep.
and it doesn't distort.
That is trick.
Yeah.
I love
Because
it.
it doesn't distort. It doesn't distort the fiberglass. It's perfect.
Exactly, and you can handle it. Now you can move it. You can
exactly.
move it around. You can call it upside
awesome.
down like this, whatever, you know.
Outstanding. Wow.
So
Now,
so
when
this
you
is
find-
about
when you-
Is that parchment or wax paper?
Wax paper.
just wax paper.
paper.
Okay.
Yeah, what is it? Writ wax paper. You can get at the supermarket.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I've had some stick to the wax paper. I ended up using parchment, and
That's the whole point, for it to stick to the wax paper.
no, it isn't when you're trying to take the wax paper off after it's stuck to a piece of balsa wood.
You're
So
talking
what
about
I'm
the
gonna
epoxy.
I'm gonna cut a piece and then I'm gonna transfer it here. Okay.
Yeah, do that. Let me see
I'm
that.
also gonna do it with the 3M77. Now it's gonna stick over here, and I'm gonna peel the wax paper off, and then I'm ready to put some epoxy in it. But it's gonna stay in position at that point. It's not gonna move.
Okay, you take the wax paper off before you put any epoxy to it.
Yeah.
No, you can do it both ways.
Yeah, you
Steve,
can,
do it both ways. I can leave the wax paper on. Okay. I can put epoxy in here right now and put this on top of my wing. And next day I can just peel off the wax paper and I'm done.
And if it gets a little bit stubborn, just get a hair dryer, just give it a little bit of heat, and it'll come right off.
Yeah.
Okay, because what we did is we kind of did it that way. We don't use 3M. It's some other stuff we have, but it's the same principle. But we stuck it inside the cradle.
Enough for me.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Okay.
Parchment paper, that's a great idea, Steve. I think it's harder and stuff like that. It's just this great idea. What can I say? Now, in addition to that, Steve, when you use parchment paper, what you want to do, you can put epoxy inside the inside your fiberglass on the parchment paper, then get paper towels and blot it out. Okay.
Oh my goodness, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And then what you do, you vacuum the make sure you don't have any dust. Use compressed air, vacuum, make sure you don't have any dust inside your, if it's balsa wood, no balsa dust. If it's foam, no foam dust or something like that, because now you have so little epoxy in your fiberglass, then you have to use it all to bond it to the foam or the wood, whatever. You don't want to bond it to the dust on the foam or the dust in the wood.
Gotcha.
Okay, that's when you're gonna get delaminations. That's critical, very, very critical, very, very important.
So in other words, whatever you're putting it on has to be clean.
No dust.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because you have so
many. You tack cloth it first.
Yeah, if I was to put resin in here right now and blot it out, you have so little resin inside of it that you're adding very, very little weight, and but it likes to delaminate. Okay. It delaminates immediately if you have dust over there, because the bond is to the dust mostly.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
Makes sense.
So that's the trick to it.
Same thing holds true for Monaco. No dust.
Brian, when you're blotting the epoxy out of the fiberglass cloth that's attached to the wax paper or parchment paper, does the weave get distorted when you're trying to blot out the epoxy?
No,
It holds it. Wow, that's amazing.
It's fine. It's just fine.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yep. And it's easy. This is a very easy technique. You know, actually, if you want to vacuum bag an elevator with a solid foam core, this is what you would do. You'd probably instead of using wax paper, you use something else. You use like a thin sheet of something shiny, right? It can be
Mylar.
Yes.
it can be mylar. It can be. I had good success with. You're gonna wax it anyways. You use a wax surface, right? So what you do, you wax the material. Can be polycarbonate. I think I tried polycarbonate one time because it was cheap, and it worked fine. So when you have those skins, the top and the bottom skin made out of polycarbonate or whatever, what I like to do, I still use the wax paper, and I cut a little strip of about 1/2 inch wide, and I transfer this. I use this because it's at 45 degrees. Try to cut. Let me show you what happens. This is this strip, right? This is this material, right?
Right.
And because it's a 45 degrees, if you try to handle this, it's going to go.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Like that. You have a mess on your hand. But if you do this instead, give me a second. Use this. If you do this instead, and it doesn't matter how narrow it is. Yeah, I'm gonna give you the same example. So I'm being fair, right?
Okay.
I don't want to be unfair, right? Right. So right now it's on a wax paper, right?
Right.
So what you do, you take the wax paper like this, and you shoot it with a 3M77, and then you get your wing. Say it's this wing on the leading edge, right? And you just put it on it like this. So you kind of just put it on. So you stick it on, stick it on, stick it on like this.
Right.
Work your way down.
Right.
And I can even show you. Here, give me a sec. What did I do with my 3M? There it is.
You got that wing?
So I gave it a little bit of 3M77. So I kind of flip it on both sides. All right, here you go. So can you see this?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So you go like this. And I'm using my wax paper as a, what's this?
As a substrate.
Like that. And
peel wax paper off. Oh.
Wow. So cool.
That is very cool.
Remove that. And it's easy to handle. Nice like that.
Now you put your epoxy on.
Then you should put epoxy on it.
That is phenomenal.
That's awesome.
And these are tricks on how to handle this stuff, right?
Right. Oh yeah.
So
you keep your hands clean too that way.
Yeah.
Now my question is how you keep the epoxy from melting the foam?
The epoxy won't melt. No. Not unless it gets really hot. Epoxy really doesn't attack foam.
Epoxy doesn't.
The 77. You have to be careful with the 77. That might.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's why you use very, very, very light, thin mist coats with the 77.
Oh yeah, it's almost non-existent. I mean, it's just I'm shooting from a long distance, and I'm just going like, psh, that's it.
Yeah.
Just super fast. You probably saw it, right?
Yeah, we saw that.
So if you make something like this, could be an elevator, for example, for our purposes, right? So you want to do what I did here on the leading edge and cover the leading edge, right?
Right.
And then on the top and the bottom, you come with the sheets of mylar that have the fiberglass on top of them, right?
Okay.
Okay.
And you put them in a vacuum bag and you vacuum bag it, and because the mylar is nice and shiny and stuff like that, it's going to impart a very nice finish to it. So
Very neat.
so that's how you do it, something like this. So this is like mostly handling of it. Okay.
Right.
All right, I took over this session, so
With 77,
Sorry, we learned something.
77, when you're spraying 77 on foam, you want to keep the distance. I mean, it's the biggest pain in the ass is, of course, keeping that 77 from spraying over everything that you don't want it to get on. But when you're putting it on foam, you have to remember to keep it about at least a minimum of 12 to 18 inches, almost 2 feet away from your foam, because when you're spraying the 77 on, you want to do it in almost like if you're painting with dope or doing a paint job, you just want to get a mist coat. You want that 77 to almost be dry by the time it reaches the foam. This way you won't melt the foam, but you'll still get a decent tack.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you guys a trick. It's just like he showed there with the wax paper. But if you have an inside curve, you need to get something to strengthen it like that on the inside curve.
Right.
Use aluminum foil and do it the same way and get your epoxy on. The aluminum foil will hold the shape and it won't try to pop straight.
Oh, wow.
Good tip.
And so that's how we used to put fiberglass fuselages together, because they had like a 1-inch strip in there. And we just put that on that aluminum foil. Then we could run it in, stick it up in place, get it all up there, and then peel off the aluminum foil. And then if you try to brush it, your brush will pull the fiberglass and all that all over the place.
Make a mess. Yeah.
Yeah. So you can put it down with the aluminum foil, and that'll hold the shape.
That's a good tip.
Yeah.
That rascal knows a few things. He's smarter than he lets on. I can't rib like Steve does. I try, but I can't do it.
Smarter than an average bear, for sure.
There you go. Steve comes in and he lowers the bomb, and I just can't do it.
Yeah, I was gonna go way off, but I decided I'll be nice because I'll get Charles mad at me. He'll kick me out like he did Phil.
Oh yeah.
Roger. And Roger and I have had communications, and he said he understood. He didn't blame me at all. He didn't fault me at all. I mean,
for kicking Phil out?
Huh? No, for kicking Roger out.
Oh.
I don't think I kicked out Phil, did I?
Yeah, he couldn't get on for a couple sessions.
No, I think I kicked out Roger.
No, we told Phil that you kicked him out.
Yeah, we told Phil you did. Hey, being with all the stuff going on now, and you see all the Secret Service guys, this is a flying deal. So I'm getting my pilot's license at Northern Air.
Okay.
Grand Rapids.
Great.
So we're in the classroom and we're doing work and stuff, and they said, well, we see these guys coming through, and it's like, what the hell's going on? And they said, the President of the United States is coming through.
Oh, shit.
And these guys were from the Netherlands. And I'm like, Ronald Reagan's coming here? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, I don't know why in the hell he'd be coming here. Well, I got talking to other people. I said, no, it's Jimmy Carter. He's going to go to Gerald R. Ford Presidential Museum because he's doing his. So he wants to go look at that. I'm like, all right. So I'm like, where's he coming in at? They said, oh, he's coming in the back hangar. And I said, well, I'm going to go there and watch. All these guys from the Netherlands are like, we want to see an American president, you know? All right. They say he's coming in back here. So there's about 7 of us, and we're in a line. And we're all starting at that back hangar where the door is at. And sure enough, here comes this jet in, and Secret Service gets off, and Jimmy Carter and stuff like that. And he's got to walk past us to go on the door. So I'm like the first one in line. So when he got up there, I went to shake his hand. And my hand got about a 45-degree angle before I had so many people grabbing me. And all the people from the Netherlands were freaking out because the ones that weren't grabbing me all pulled their guns out.
Oh, my goodness.
And they're like, their hands are up and stuff like this. And Jimmy Carter's like, no, 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 no. And he came over and shook my hand. And all them guys were like, what did you do that for? And I'm like, I wasn't thinking. I was just going to shake the man's hand. And I wasn't even thinking about, but I couldn't believe how fast Secret Service were on me from my hand on this side to 45. I mean, it didn't even get straight out. And they hit my arm and everything else. But
you're lucky you're still alive.
Well, that
should have had a bag of peanuts for him.
Yeah, but
all right, guys, look at this.
Oh yeah, we'll be happy to look at that.
Damn. Never mind.
Cool.
You see that?
Yeah.
So this is the fiberglass in here. Now it's in position. I'm gonna pick up a corner of this wax paper, peel it off, and just work out the edges a little bit. But
beauty.
If you look at this,
good gracious,
wow, that's beautiful,
and it's perfectly placed.
So
fibers are straight, nicely. What
did we miss? You sprayed the center wing panel with 3M77, then you laid it down?
No. I took this,
put it on there,
the other side of it,
and I sprayed on the other side of the fiberglass.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you using that big of a piece for the center section?
Yes, because I have a twin boom on this one. It's going to be like this.
Okay, very nice.
Oh, okay.
So I want to put it in here like that and have some kind of a good torsional rigidity over here. That's the reason for which I put that's the reason for which I'm putting my fibers like this at 45 degrees. They're not at 0.90.
And then you glue your booms right to the fiberglass, right?
Yeah, just right on top of it and just glue it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Perfect.
Now you haven't applied any epoxy yet to the center section yet. You're going to put the epoxy on it now or soon?
Epoxy. I can put it anytime. I can wait until tomorrow. It really doesn't matter when you do it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I mean, it really doesn't matter.
That is really neat.
What a great idea.
Yeah.
So light.
Yeah.
So you're gonna vacuum bag? You're gonna vacuum bag that, or are you just gonna put some epoxy on it and blot it off and call it good?
Oh no, I'm just gonna put epoxy on top of it and call it good. I mean, this is just a test bed for a plane. It's not gonna be like a Concours d'Elegance stuff in there, right?
Oh, awfully soft though.
Yeah.
Very impressive.
See, and right now I still have the leftover to do the other side.
Wow.
Awesome.
So you're not going to do your trailing edge. You're going to put your trailing edges on there first, right?
Yeah.
Okay. As I'm saying, that I don't think you're putting hinges in foam, bare foam. It's not an idea.
No, I'm not going to have any hinges, any flaps on this plane.
Oh, okay.
No flaps here, sir. Yeah. Okay. So
more foam wings.
So yeah, I was hoping that I was going to do this, so I'm taking the opportunity to show you guys what I'm doing or how I'm doing some stuff.
So when you just brush it on and scrape it off?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And you can even blot it out with some paper towels.
Okay. Yeah, that's good.
You got
Okay.
liquid enough. This is why you don't throw away your old PJ's cards or your old credit cards or whatnot. You don't throw them away when you get new ones. You keep them because
For
they make
sure.
they make great scrapers.
Oh yeah, I use them for scraping noses on airplanes when I fiberglass them always.
I thought you said you use them to scrape your inside of your nose.
Yeah.
If you really want to
Yeah.
make this super light, what you want to do, you want to use a paint roller.
Oh,
You
yeah?
use one of those 4-inch paint rollers, which are really small.
Right.
You put the
The little
epoxy in the
foam one?
paper, and you put your paint
Yeah.
rollers through it, and then you put the paint roller on top of paper towels before you go to the wing. If the paper towels get soaked in, you have too much epoxy. So you put
Okay.
a little bit of effort in here with a paint roller to actually get some epoxy through the fibers. And this way you put
Use
very
a-
little epoxy on it, and it's not going to soak into the it will not soak inside the foam, because this foam is porous foam. It's not a closed cell foam.
Yeah.
If you
Yeah,
put
it's
water through
expanded.
this, it's going to get out through the other side.
Yeah, because it's
Are you
expanded
using,
polystyrene, not extruded.
Exactly.
Are you
Okay,
using
gotcha.
a foam roller? Are you using foam rollers? The rollers
cannot
you're
hear you.
using, are they made out of foam? The rollers you're using, are they made out of foam?
Yes.
Yeah.
You can use any
Okay.
kind of rollers, the foam or the other ones.
God,
But
what
I
a
prefer
mess.
the foam.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious.
You don't get any nap on it that way.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, right now the fibers are staying beautiful here, and if your roller is kind of dry, then you have to put a little bit of effort into it, a little bit of extra pressure, to make sure
Just to
you
get-
soak into this, right? But you're never going to soak through this or through your balsa wood and have it go dump a lot of
Yeah, I
weight
get it.
there.
Yeah, I get it. That's good.
So yeah,
Brilliant.
what you do, you put the roller over there like you paint something on a wall. You put the roller into the paint, you put it on a paper towel until it's kind of hard to paint anything, right? And then you go here.
So if you were gonna say that was a different wing and you were gonna paint it or whatever, how would you fill the weave so you wouldn't see it?
I don't know, if I was doing something like this, I'll probably still use some kind of a silk span on top of it to just fill in the grain
I
and
agree.
sand most
Yeah.
of it off.
Oh,
And
okay.
the best thing about putting silk span over it is you never see the weave after years of flying. Sometimes the weave will come through if you don't put silk span or something over it.
Yeah, but now if you use mylars, you can paint the mylars, and you can leave a little bit of extra resin on a fiberglass. And now when you peel off the mylars, it's already painted.
Yeah, you can do that too.
That's neat.
And you can paint it with whatever, put some primer on the mylars then. Just paint with primer, and after that you just put the fiberglass on top of it, you trim it off, put the epoxy, blot it out, but not too much, leave some in there. And then you just put it on top of your foam and you vacuum bag it, and when you peel off the mylar, when you're done, boom, there you go, you have a painted part. All you have to worry about just maybe the leading edge a little bit around the trailing edge, but for most part you're done.
Did you have a special bag you used, or how do you vacuum bag it?
You need a vacuum pump, and then you use some. I use the. If you go to Uline, they have these big tubes that are that they put parts inside that they're sealed or something like that. What's that? It's made out of some of this plastic that kind of feels like greasy a little bit. I forgot what was the name of it.
Know what you
I'll look
call
it up and I'll let you know.
What is that stuff called?
Yeah.
Some of the high dollar car parts come in that stuff.
I wonder if you use like a shop vac and pull the vacuum with that, how much, if that would be enough.
Find an old refrigerator.
No, you don't want the shop vac to scream in your ears all night long. Not a good idea.
Try getting an old refrigerator.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna try something out. I'm gonna try something out. I'm gonna. This is the fiberglass I put in here. I'm gonna pull it.
Wow.
Oh, Jesus!
Strong.
And it's still. I didn't break it. I broke the balsa.
Wow, that's impressive.
And
wow.
probably is because I did this, you know.
Yeah.
But if the stress goes in that direction, I can't break it. I cannot break it.
That's phenomenal.
And this is, if you want to know, this is 4-inch wide, and the thickness is. Let me put it in inches then. Okay, this is zeroed out. The thickness is 0.004 of an inch.
Wow.
Is that stuff from England?
Yeah, this is the unidirectional from England.
Yeah, it comes in that tube. I got some downstairs there. It's nice stuff to work with.
It's very easy to work with it. Yeah, extremely easy to work. And it's flat, and the binder is nice to it. It doesn't let the fibers fray away. It's easy to cut it with a razor blade. Super nice. I mean, you stick with 3M77. So a cool trick would be, it's like, let's say you have a spar, like one of those 4-inch by 4-inch spars. You take this and just put it right on top of the spar with 3M77. And then when you put your sheeting on top of it, you hit it with a thin CA. So what you do, you soak the carbon fiber and you glue the balsa to the spar as well. All in one shot.
That's neat.
So you use that type of carbon fiber when you're making like an I-beam wing, putting that between.
Sure.
Yeah. So you wouldn't use the veil. You would use the directional.
Yeah.
Direction. No. Veil doesn't give you strength.
Right.
Veil is never for strength. Veil is for ding protection, so you don't stick your nail into it. Because veil, it's a bunch of little short fibers at random directions. You don't have a direction in which it has a strength. That's what veil is. Veil is not for, veil is for handling. Like when you hold your plane and you move it from point A to point B. Even though Pete showed me the other day, that it's very hard to break with a veil. That's because wherever you break the two layers like this, right? We have some little strands of veil that go across. Some of them will go across that spot. Yeah, so it of extra strength versus something that's nothing. If instead of that you would use this fiberglass, you'd have a hard time breaking that stuff. Or carbon fiber that has some long strands that go across. You're gonna have very hard time breaking that stuff.
Okay.
Eddie, if you take the look at a lot of the older planes that back when veil was really popular a few years ago, it's not as popular now as it was 5 years ago. But we were recovering all our planes in veil, but then we were still fiberglassing the nose to make it strong enough to where you wouldn't mar it up handling it.
Bob Hunt still covers just about all of his planes in veil.
Yeah,
it's good for handling. Yeah. But that's it. I don't think it's for strength.
Some extra rigidity when it's sandwiched between two balsa pieces. But that I'm not saying for rigidity or for a spar or anything like that. That's not what it's for.
Yeah, Sparky did. I don't know. He did some testing on like silk span and Jap tissue and all that kind of stuff. And
yeah, he did the carbon veil, the light tissue, and the medium, and all that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Veil has almost no weight. I mean, it's ridiculously thin.
Remember which one won out that contest?
The heavy silk span.
Heavy silk span.
Yeah.
Yeah, but of course, yeah.
And I definitely expect that because Veil doesn't have any structure. Silk span is like the paper; it has some structure to it.
It's also, and it also has weight.
Yeah.
But everybody talks. Everybody talks. Go ahead.
The Veil did well. I mean, it was strong enough.
I would dare Sparky to use this stuff.
You wouldn't break that.
Yeah, of
gracious,
course.
look at that.
But again, that's about twice the wood. That's about twice or three times the weight of it.
What's the weight per square yard?
It's the 20 grams, I think.
Yeah.
Shoot, that's not bad.
So that's not even about 0.75 around there, or 0.6 something.
What, the thickness?
No, for weight. I mean, they're using.
Yeah, 0.75. Yeah.
They're using 0.02.
Yeah.
Veil, which is a lot lighter.
Ultimately, it all boils down to the application. If Veil is good enough for a certain application, you use it. You don't use something more than it, because then it's you're just wasting performance. It boils down is it good enough? It's just like we have discussions on control line all the time. Oh, geez, I have a PA 75. Well, do you really need a PA 75 or is a PA 40 good enough?
Well, I always look at it when it comes to that for weight. If a 61 and a 75 weighs the same, I'd use a 75. Because you can always turn a 75 down, but you can't always speed a 61 up enough.
No, I'm just using it as an example.
Yeah.
There's a lot of instances where a lot of times things are over-engineered and it's additional either complexity or additional weight. And what you need is just something that's enough to get the job done. You don't need to go. It's a controversy.
Along those lines, Peter, you're absolutely right. It's like saying this plane is designed to have 1/8 inch balsa sides on the fuselage, but I want to make it so it's stronger. So I'm going to put 1/4 inch on there. You don't. It's just more weight.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to survive a crash anyway.
Exactly.
Not like
people who try to build strength are kidding themselves, because it only counts up to a certain point, and it just means there's more weight to plow into the ground.
Then you got more.
As Sparky always says, you build a plane to fly, not to crash.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's a good line.
You build it to crash, it will.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, did you want to see this?
Yeah.
All right, here you go.
Nah, we don't want to see nothing.
So I cut this piece. This is the fiberglass on this side, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And watch how I'm shooting. Like I'm pretty far
Yeah,
away.
like 2 feet away, exactly.
You see how quickly I move?
Yeah.
It's barely anything. I don't even feel it on my hand, right?
Right.
And I drew a line on it. You see that?
It's a good thing, Tran, because you're spraying that stuff. It's going to be sticking all over everything in your garage.
It's so little, my garage is so dusty, and I'm not sure if you can see this. Okay. So I just started here and then just go down the center and work my way out like this. Easy does it. I mean, this is so easy to do.
That's awesome.
And this is, you know, taking a blade here just to pick up the corner here. The corner came off, nice and easy. There you go. And all the strands are beautiful and straight, and I'm not sure. I can bring it real close to that.
That looks really good.
I mean, can you see that?
Tryon, you do pretty work.
That is beautiful, Tryon.
You know, that's like Bob Hunt on his wings like that. When he takes white glue and sticks down carbon fiber veil. I don't know if you guys ever seen this test bed twin and stuff. But he flew the crap out of it, and the wing never broke or anything.
Well,
Steve, the veil, because the veil, the way the veil is made, the way the fibers go in a veil, the veil is good for only one thing: ding protection. So you don't ding the wing. It doesn't give you strength on the wing. It doesn't. It might give you something, but it's not even worth. It's probably far less than what the silk span gives you. Silk span is going to give you much more rigidity, stiffness to the wing than the veil will ever do. The veil is just so if you go like this with your nail in your plane, you're not going to put a ding in it.
Well, all I know is I seen him fly that airplane. It had veil over foam, and he flew the crap out of it, turned sharp corners and all that kind of stuff, and the wing didn't break. So the veil was then tough enough or strong enough to keep that wing from breaking.
All right, I'll tell you right now, the veil, okay, and I'm going to end here. The veil didn't add any strength. The wing didn't break because it had a spar in it, and the spar took the load, and the spar was strong enough. But the veil did not do anything other than go on for the ride. That's it.
I agree.
That's what I was going to say. Spars in there.
Yeah, it had
no, because if you take a foam wing and say it just went along for the ride, then you take your wing tips there and take that wing and twist it, and you can see what it does. I've used this stuff and put it on a wing, glued it down, and it will no longer twist like it does without anything on it. So I know it's doing more than going along for the ride.
If you put paper on it, it's going to twist a lot less than the veil.
But it weighs more.
How much more?
Steve, you know, you want to...
That's what I'm saying is it strong enough for what you need it to do?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and that's what I'm looking at. It's more expensive. So if you save...
Yeah, a lot more.
If you save...
Okay, do yourself an experiment, Steve. Okay,
listen. The amount of product you put down, is it worth to pay 3 times as much? It's up to you.
This is what you need to do, Steve, okay? You take a piece of paper. You take a piece of paper, silk span, okay? And you fold it up like this. Make it some thickness to it. Do the same with the veil. And try to pull it apart and break it, because I cannot break this. I cannot break this. I bet you if I do that with veil, I can do it with 2 fingers. Try it.
You're probably right.
But I would tell you what, if you took veil, cover it with epoxy and wrote it into like a pencil, you took that paper, covered it with epoxy, roll it into like a pencil. Now try to pull it apart.
Yeah.
But you can't pull
this is one thing, one piece. The veil, the carbon with the carbon is going to probably break easier because it has no strength in one direction. Veil, it's everywhere. It's all directions, Steve. You need to understand that carbon has strength in one direction only, in a straight line and wherever the fiber goes. Veil doesn't have that.
Right, I understand, but what I'm saying is it has enough. That's like if I go for a burger and I got $5 in my pocket, I have enough. But if I go for a steak and only have $5 in my pocket, I don't have enough.
And why wouldn't you use something that's stronger?
And what it'll do for you.
Yeah. If you have $5 and you can get a burger or you can get 10 burgers, why don't you get the 10?
Because I may not want a burger. I may want a taco.
Lord help me.
Well, maybe 10 is better. It's gonna feed you better. You're gonna have.
If I'm really hungry, if I'm really hungry, I probably would.
All right, Peter. Peter likes to say something, you guys. Let Peter have a chance. Peter, you have the floor.
All right there. It's this is hold on. This is the Vector 40 kit by Brodak. Basically, this is Randy Smith's design. And if you'll see here, full-size plans, step-by-step instructions, tips A, AAA balsa, laser cut ribs, machine fuselage, all the yada 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 yada. And then what does it say right there?
Carbon mat.
And you know what that carbon mat is used for?
Yeah, it goes in between two pieces of 1/8 inch in the nose of the airplane.
So
Exactly.
we were going back to the fact that I'm not a world champion or national champion, so I don't know what I'm talking about. I get it.
No, he's using it in place of a plywood doubler in the nose. And it works. I built that kit. That kit is stiff as a board when you put that carbon mat on both sides of a 1/8 inch fuselage side, doubler sides. And it doesn't need plywood in between. I'm just saying, if somebody designs an airplane and this is not the ARF, this is not, almost ready to fly or even almost ready to cover. This is the kit. And Randy pretty much put this together, and this is probably the way the original Vector was designed to fly. Hey, if it's good enough for him, it's good enough for me.
It works.
That's all.
But that's a
What's the
laminate.
guy that owned RMS or RSM? Eric Rule.
Yeah.
He told me, because I was working on something and it says use carbon fiber veil, whatever in between there. He says, if you don't have any, use a lunch bag and glue that between two pieces of balsa wood. He says it does the same thing, but it's a little bit thick.
You can put tissue paper in there and still get better off instead of that veil.
But that's laminating three material together.
Right.
I'll stick to plywood.
You need to do it again.
I have a question, Tryon. Now, usually when I use the fiberglass, I have fiberglass in the nose up to the leading edge of the wing. Is there any tricks to doing that?
Why?
I'm just curious if he has.
Why not?
Tricks. I didn't know anything about the wax paper he did for the center section. I'm wondering, is there anything as far as glass in the nose?
Yeah, the trick is if you run out of fiberglass, put electric in it, and you won't need it.
Yep.
Oh, brother, here we go.
Yeah, I was just curious.
Charles, the only trick I would probably use for that for the nose, I mean, you can probably still use this, and you can probably still use this technique. But what you want to do, you don't want to put it that say this is the nose of your plane, right?
Right.
You don't want the fibers to go this way and that way, right? You want to go at 45 degrees.
Alrighty.
Okay. Because if you do that, it's going to drape much nicer around the nose of compound curves and whatever.
Okay.
Thank you.
That's what I would definitely do. Just put them at 45. Besides that, if you put it at 45, gives you more torsional strength.
Right.
That's a good idea. I've never done it, but I will.
It's much more rigid than if you put it at 0.90.
Yeah. See, I've always put it at 90, but now that you've said that, it makes sense.
You get two benefits. So number one,
For sure.
it's the nose is going to be much stiffer torsionally, so
Most
less
definitely.
vibrations, and it's easier to put on.
Yeah, that makes
And
sense.
you can also do the 3M77. Just spray the nose of the plane.
Yeah, I'm gonna try that.
How thick of fiberglass are you guys putting on the nose of your airplane? I've never done it before.
I've always done it.
Like ½ ounce. That's what I've used.
Yeah, ½ ounce.
Half
That's what I
ounce.
use, ½ ounce.
By the way, Charles, if you wanna try the 3/4 ounce fiberglass, it's better.
All right.
It works easier.
And you know why? Gonna tell you why. Because the ½ ounce cloth has like I think it's 56 strands in one direction and 34 in the other direction.
Right.
So you have a bunch of porosity and holes in between the strands. Okay.
Right.
But the 3/4 has the same thickness, same everything, but has equal amount in both directions.
Okay.
Ah.
So
good idea.
And
you
so
guys,
you have less holes to fill in with glue.
Strength? You're not using the ½ ounce cloth for strength. You're just
yeah.
Ding resistance and strength.
Yeah,
both.
Ding resistance, strength, and also like a handling kind of thing, because you hold it by the nose a lot of times, and it's mostly a handling thing.
Keep your foot close when you start it.
By the nose.
I can tell you guys another way to do it. To put down fiberglass, because we always used to ½ ounce or 3/4 ounce our fiberglass over our whole fuselage. And if you'll take SIG polyester resin, their finishing resin,
yeah,
and it only works with SIG that I found so far. I've tried other polyester resins and it doesn't work. And I don't know who makes SIGs. Someone makes it for them. But you take 7/8 of an ounce of that, 1/8 of an ounce of acetone, double the hardener, and it will make that so thin that you can now start painting that on and move your fiberglass and take out every wrinkle. Paint it over the nose. It'll do compound curves. It'll do fillets, all that. Because there's enough movement in that fabric that you can shift it and run the
but Steve, in addition to that, if you put it ±45 degrees, it's gonna fold over anything, especially if you do it in 2 halves.
Yeah, I didn't, I never did it that way with 45, but
yeah, try it.
We would just drape a fuselage and start doing it and work our way around it and have it the whole fuselage covered with one.
With 45, you're gonna find your life even easier. Actually, much easier.
I'm gonna do that next time, and it ain't that far till I'm gonna do it.
But it has to be SIG polyester. I've tried all these body shop.
You do it at 45. It doesn't matter what you use at that point.
But it's so wet, it'll wet it in. It never comes off, and then you can shoot dope over it, whatever, and
yeah,
you're fine with But it makes it, and that was like molded parts when we'd make up a mold. We'd do it that way just to get the fiberglass around. Then we would just take and load it up and sand it, after we had something really stiff, because you can use thick fiberglass. But that's a trick in doing like molding on boats. If you ever had to fix a piece of fiberglass on that, you can sand that up and use that to move that fiberglass around, stick it down when it's that thin. But like I said,
how do you blend the edges on that?
You just sand it out once you
get the resin on it.
Yeah, you just take some sandpaper and feather it all in. But that's the way I like when I put 2 wing halves together, put a piece of fiberglass on it. I put it down that way. Now I know people will take and thin down epoxy with some alcohol and do it, but this is so much thinner, and it takes hardly anything. You can just spread that out, and then like I said, I go about an inch and a half past the fiberglass to toughen the balsa, so when you sand it, you don't get sanding nicks in it. because then everything is the same hardness. And where the polyester transitions into the wood, you don't even know. You can go over that edge and it just dusts off.
Yeah. Well, like I said, the same technique can apply if you don't want to soak some stuff with resin. Put it on a roller, use a dry roller. So you put in an epoxy, then you dry it out on a piece of paper towel, and then you have to work it in. And that way it's not going to soak into anything. You have very little. It's going to look kind of dry when you're done with it too, by the way.
Yeah. Y'all put the fiberglass down on the bare wood, or
You
after it's soaked, or is it what?
The way I do
it, I don't know.
I would put it at plus minus 40. This is what I would do. I would take the fiberglass, rotate it at 45 degrees, plus minus 45. I take my fuselage and take the 3M77 from a distance and just go all over it, and start with the fiberglass like this, plus minus 45, down the center, and work my way towards the edge. It's going to fold around compound, even sharp turns. If you have sharp turns, stuff like that, around the nose area, if you have a tough turn or something like that, and it's going to lay nicely. And then I will take the epoxy, mix it up, take my roller, go over there, put it on a paper towel, and make sure that's like, when I put it on a paper towel, I don't see it being soaked, especially those blue ones. You can see them, they turn like really dark, but if they don't change color, you're good. And then I will just go over the fuselage and start on one end and just go over to the other end. Done deal. Over. And you're not soaking, you're not putting excess resin into the fiberglass. You're not putting excess resin through the fiberglass into the fibers of the wood, which that's what makes it heavy.
That's awesome.
All right, you guys, with that, let me close out the stream. We can still continue to talk. I want to thank everybody for showing up. We had like 11 guests tonight inside here with us, and then we had like 16 concurrent viewers, and we had a little activity on the chat box over there. But tonight we started off talking about thinning epoxy, and then Tryon did a demonstration on how to retrofit a handle with the Kevlar rope, which was fascinating. And then we started talking about wind, trying to find the wind when we're flying. And then lastly, we started talking about fiberglass and laminating, and Tryon did a great presentation on using the wax paper with the 3M. So very informative evening. I think it was a very good show. I want to encourage everybody out there who's still listening, don't forget to like and subscribe and share the channel. And don't forget the super chat, and don't forget the memberships we have, which have videos for members only. And once a month, Sparky does the Q&A, where you can ask Sparky questions on building. So I want to thank everybody for coming out. We'll be back again Monday, same time, same bat channel.